was resolved to avoid hatred and intolerance so that other genuine national aspirations can be achieved. State House correspondent Adamo Sambo reports.
In few days to come, I will be joined by many promising young Nigerians to sign into law the Not Too Young to Run bill.
That pronouncement by President Muhammadu Buhari will surely bring to an end the anxiety and apprehension of the young Nigerians in their desire to contribute more purposefully to the nation's democratic enterprise, beginning with the 2019 elections.
Let me use this opportunity to urge us all to conduct ourselves, our wards, and our constituencies with uttermost sense of fairness, justice, and peaceful coexistence, such that we will have not only hitch-free elections, but also a credible and violence-free process.
Without mincing words, President Buhari said the governing APC is on course in delivering the change promised Nigerians and saluted their resilience and determination to chart a pragmatic course towards addressing the fundamental challenges of the nation.
Like I have always said, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will destroy the country. We are, more than ever before, determined to win this war, however hard the road is. I therefore appeal to all well-meaning Nigerians to continue to support us in this fight.
He said the various policy measures already put in place to stem the tide of corruption are yielding remarkable results, as the whistleblower policy alone has helped to recover over 500 billion naira. The federal government, he however said, is pained over the grievous loss of lives and property occasioned by the carnage of insurgency and other forms of criminality in the country.
I wish to assure Nigerians that we will not rest until all criminal elements and their sponsors are brought to justice.
He also promised that identified culprits in the unfortunate incidences of kidnappings as well as farmers-herders conflicts that led to high number of fatalities and loss of property will be made to face the full wrath of the law. President Buhari also enumerated the giant strides recorded in the economic diversification drive, education, power, job creation, and transportation.
The railway sector has also received tremendous attention, as this administration is committed to the goal of linking all state capitals in the Federation by a rail network to ease the movement of goods and passengers.
He used the opportunity to appreciate the immeasurable contributions of the Nigerian women to the advancement of democracy and national development, even as he reaffirmed the commitment of his government to keep to his promise of leading Nigeria into a new era of justice and prosperity.
God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
From the
Senate President Abubakar Bukola Saraki has advised Nigerians not to take for granted the continued democratic dispensation the country has been enjoying in the past 19 years, but guard against actions, statements, and moves which can truncate the political process. While congratulating Nigerians on the 19th anniversary of unbroken elected government in the country, Saraki advised the people and to always be vigilant and speak against any anti-democratic policies and actions capable of subverting rule of law. A statement by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Yusuf Olaniyon, the Senate President implored Nigerians to remember and salute the nation's heroes of democracy. Former Nigerian President General Badamasi Babangida has advocated the promotion of democratic governance as Nigeria celebrates 19 years of democracy. This was contained in a statement signed by the elder statesman in Minna, Niger State. He emphasized that democratic governance, polarized alongside ethnic and religious lines, is worrisome and urged politicians to adhere to the rule of the game, saying it was time once again to look more on the need to build unique two-party structure in the country. General Babangida salutes the resilience of Nigerians in adopting democratic structure across the three-tier of government. As Nigeria celebrates the 19th anniversary of democracy, panelists on Good Morning Nigeria have commended first recorded. They highlighted significant achievements in three cardinal areas, including security, corruption, and the economy. Ungufon Saji reports.
Panelists affirm that President Buhari's administration has recorded tremendous achievements in the fight against corruption, infrastructure development, construction of water dams to improve the welfare of citizens, as well as the creation of jobs through agriculture.
But then again, the administration is doing so well by ensuring that there is employment, there is training, there is procurement of modern equipment, and in the National Assembly we are there to support Mr. President and the administration.
Some infrastructural developments are taking place all over the country. Roads are being repaired. Contractors that had not been able to continue with the execution of their projects are mobilizing back to site.
3 years on, we have seen a lot of work in cleaning up the system.
Ernest Ureke, however, said although these achievements are laudable, more still has to be done to address insurgency, especially in the northeast. He, however, commended President Buhari's promise to pass the Not Too Young bill in a few days, describing it as a democracy gift to the youth.
Out of the franchise to vote and be voted for in elections, Nigerian youths have only enjoyed that franchise of voting in elections. They have not really enjoyed the franchise of being voted for in elections.
My own mind is that Nigeria is still together. In spite of various challenges within the past period, for Nigeria to still stay as a country is an achievement.
They advised Nigerians to eschew hate speech, show tolerance for each other, as well as the need for the electoral body to ensure a free, fair, and credible election in 2019. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
The basis for any enduring prosperity for a nation has been attributed to the prevalence of peace, which is a critical ingredient for breeding democratic culture. This issue came to the fore at a peace summit for interfaith residents of Abuja. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
From the two major religions, Christianity and Islam, participants were united in purpose as they deliberated on a nation built on virtues of national integration.
Nigeria is breaking away from these big names.
Questions were asked, contributions made on how to actualize their set goal for a greater Nigeria, free of corruption, secured with a strong economic base, which are evident in the present administration's drive.
Brief and short, straight to the point.
A book, Roadmap to Democracy and National Integration in Nigeria, was then presented to the public.
We must tend to put aside the divisive tendency amongst us and begin to look at the broad picture of the purpose of Nigeria.
The former national anthem used to say, Nigeria, we hail thee. All right? Yes, we hailed Nigeria. And let us continue to hail this country. It's the best place we have.
We are talking about congregation right now. We talk to people. We see how people are actually following us in terms of our preaching, so that we can use our pulpits to preach peace.
We want to make it a yearly event so that all these issues of herdsmen, farmers clashes, Boko Haram, scourge, and all of the crises you have in the nation can come to an end.
The summit is in commemoration of the 2018 Democracy Day. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And for more reports on the 2018 Democracy Day celebration, let's link up with Kaduna Network Center with Alima to guide us. It's over to you, Alima.
Hello, Kainde. You're welcome to Kaduna Network Center. The Kaduna State Governor, Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, says the APC-led administration is committed towards reforming Nigeria and promoting democratic governance through provision of a platform that will guarantee the emergence of credible and responsive leaders. He stated this in a message to commemorate Democracy Day. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports.
After a brief review of Nigeria's democratic experience since 1999, which is said witnessed some challenges and tension, Governor Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai saluted the electorate for their perseverance in sustaining the current democracy. He noted with delight that the electorates have learned to make their voices heard through the ballot, as demonstrated in the last general elections that brought in the change mantra.
In a democracy, the people are the masters, and no one in Nigeria can doubt that. Citizens have taken active control of choosing who their leaders should be. From those they have chosen, the people expect service and leadership.
On his administration's 3 year in office, Governor El-Rufai said a lot has been achieved in providing good governance to the people, reiterating the commitment of the APC-led administration in completing ongoing projects and initiating new ones across the country to make life better for the citizenry. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Democracy Day in Jigawa State is being celebrated in a low-key manner. Our Muhammad Kazaure reports that the state governor, Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, in a special media parley, described the 3 years of APC government at the state and federal levels as eventful with notable achievements.
By whatever yardstick, democracy is the best option of governance that allows for choice and freedom of speech. Many people in Jigawa State who oppress the nation's democracy express the confidence in the system as it's evolving.
Glaring benefit to the masses of the people is that they now have the chance to elect their leaders.
The beauty of democracy is all over the place for anybody to see, even in terms of our ability to express ourselves easily and then openly.
On his part, Governor Muhammad Badaru Abubakar used the occasion to list some of the achievements of the state and Buhari administration in the last 3 years. He urged the people to continue to have faith as the APC administration remains committed to improving the lives of Nigerians.
3 short years, we have increased budgetary allocation to agriculture by 210% and expanded Padama cultivation from 40,000 hectares to 120,000 hectares.
Jigawa State was created in 1991. From Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazaure, NTA News.
Talking security now, Borno State launches new security initiative. Muhammad Maiduguri has details and other reports from that zone. Hello.
Thank you, Halima, and welcome to Maiduguri. As part of activities marking Democracy Day, Borno State government has launched the Neighborhood Watch program for promotion and maintenance of peace and security in the Metropolis and Jere local government area. 2,900 youth vanguards drawn from Maiduguri Metropolis and Jere have been selected and screened in the pilot program, which is expected to cover other parts of the state. Mohamed Goni reports.
The youth vanguard involved in the Neighborhood Watch and the pilot scheme drawn from 15 wards of the Metropolis and 10 from Jere have been directed to operate within their localities. The program has been designed to consolidate upon the gains already achieved in the restoration and sustenance of peace, law, and order in the communities. Governor Kashim Shettima noted that the essence of every government is to protect lives and property and pay tribute to the Nigerian Armed Forces and the civilian JTF for their sacrifices to restore peace to the state. The governor added that the Neighborhood Watch, which is backed by law, is to operate within the communities to check social vices and call on the youth bangers to hand over suspects to police for prosecution and further charge them to watch over security of public places and the facilities. Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Kakasho Lawan said those inaugurated have undergone thorough and rigorous screening by relevant security outfits, especially the Department of State Services, and call on the public to give them full support and cooperation. The occasion also featured display of patrol vehicles and a symbolic presentation of vehicles to the 25 outfits. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
In the spirit of Ramadan, Governor Kashim Shettima has distributed food and non-food items to nomadic Mbororo Fulani community, whose children are receiving free education by the Borno State government. The governor took time to inspect the newly constructed school for Fulani children whose families were victims of the Boko Haram insurgency. Again, Mohamed Goni reports.
The nomadic Bororo Fulani are an integral part of Borno, with their families sharing close links with other tribal groups and cultures. The Fulani community has its own fair share of the atrocities of the Boko Haram insurgency, most of whom lost their traditional occupation, with their livestock killed or stolen and areas of grazing activity turned to war zones. Governor Kashim Shettima had, while inspecting the newly constructed school for the Fulani children, narrated a touching story of 4 Fulani children whose father was killed by the insurgents, leaving them under the care of their mother. The mother later died on her way from Marte to Maiduguri, trying to save her children from the insurgents. The woman who was entrusted with the care of the children also lost her marriage because the husband refused to accommodate the 4 Fulani children. Governor Shettima then assured to empower the woman to take care of her 3 nieces and the nephew with a tricycle and a house at Dangote village. Governor Kashim Shettima warned parents of the children not to withdraw them from school.
That we should pluck up the distribution of Ramadan Kareem with the most vulnerable, who have made the ultimate sacrifice of enrolling their wards into schools.
Representatives of the parents were full of gratitude to the Borno State government for the continued support. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Shehu of Borno, Abubakar Ibn Umar Garwe El-Kanemi, has commended troops of Operation Lafia Dole for their efforts in sustaining relative peace in the state. The Shehu of Borno made the commendation when the former General Officer commanding 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Ibrahim Manu Yusuf, paid him a farewell visit at his palace. Jesse Tavida has the report.
Major General Ibrahim Manu Yusuf expressed gratitude to the Shehu for all his support during his stay in the state as the General Officer commanding 7th Division of the Nigerian Army. He noted that all the achievement he made while in the state was as a result of the fatherly support given to him by the Shehu. Major General Ibrahim also commended the effort of the civilian JTF, who collaborated with military in the counter-insurgency operations, as well as district, village and ward heads for the maximum support given to the Nigerian Army. He said the visit was to bid the royal father farewell, as he is now posted to the Nigerian Army Resource Center, Abuja, as Director Nigerian Army Consult. Responding, Shehu of Borno Abubakar Ibn Umar Garbe El-Kanemi congratulated Major General Ibrahim for his new appointment and was pleased with the visit, describing him as a respectful officer. The Shehu also lauded the Nigerian Army for their efforts towards ensuring people are back to their localities and encouraged the Major General to maintain the speed as he goes to his new place of assignment. In Maiduguri, I am Jesse Tafida, NTA News.
That's all for our contribution. It's now back to Kende in Abuja. Happy Democracy Day.
Thank you, Mohammed. Good to see you. The West African Action Network Against Small Arms and Light Weapons Proliferation, as part of its action plan, has engaged the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senator Ita Enang, on the need for quick establishment of Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission as stipulated by ECOWAS Treaty. National Assembly correspondent Omotola Omojola was there in our report.
Leveraging on the office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, the group engaged for the legislative and executive arms of government to give prompt attention to the establishment of the commission.
As we speak, only Nigeria and Gambia is yet to establish their own national commission. So, sir, we want to appeal to the National Assembly for the speed passage of National Commission.
That will give us the firm footing on which to stand and do the work that we need to do, not just in Nigeria, but also all over the world.
Responding to the request of the group, Senator Ita Enang appreciates its efforts and notes that security is fundamental to national development. It is key to the achievement of peace. He, however, urged the group to reach out to other tiers of government for effectiveness in the actualization of its mandate.
The states of the Federation, in each of the states, there is the Firearms Act, and there is the Police Commissioner in each of the states. There is the Attorney General of each state. There is the Director of Public Prosecution of each state. And the duties of these persons in the 36 or 72 of them is to arrest persons who have these firearms, in case of the police and other security agencies.
Senator Ita Enang also advised the ECOWAS to reach out to troubled parts on the continent where these weapons flow from to nip in the bud the challenge of small arms and light weapons proliferation. From the National Assembly, Omotola Omojola, NTA News.
As part of effort to complement federal government's drive at ridding the nation of corruption, there is a need for a comprehensive legal framework to check abuses of public funds in all sectors of the economy. This was the key message at an interactive session organized by the Civil Society Legislative Advisory Center, CISLAC, ahead of the official launch of the Security Votes Report. Dennis Adegunloye reports.
Security votes are funds given to states to cover unforeseen security needs of the country. Often transacted in cash, they are usually at the discretion of public officials and are rarely the subject of independent audits. These deficiencies, various groups agree, need to be speedily addressed so as not to slow the growing momentum of federal government's anti-corruption crusade.
So we have duty as citizens to make sure that we support sincere efforts of government, because civil society is actually supposed to complement efforts of government. We are not out there to undermine anybody unless you are undermining yourself. If you are corrupt and you are insincere, then we will definitely fight that. And if you consider that undermining, then we are undermining you.
There are about 24,000 people that have been lost, lives that have been lost in the last 2 years to violent conflicts across Nigeria. No one single state is exempted. So this is not a sectional thing, it's not a religious thing.
Security is indeed a critical aspect of our existence and development. Nothing can be achieved without security.
The groups recommend that the National Assembly should pass a legislation outlawing security votes at all levels. They also advocate for an adequate legal framework specifying budgeting procedures and criteria for security expenditure in the country. Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
Nationwide continues shortly after this break. Do stay with us.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
It's 3 years of developmental change in Nigeria under President Muhammadu Buhari. How far? So far. That is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week, with stakeholders across board. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
The 61st meeting of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Commission for Africa is taking place in Nigeria at the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja from the 4th to the 6th of June 2018. The UNTWO Commission for Africa is a meeting of the various African ministers of tourism from the 51 member states around Africa. The event will highlight the strategies for developing tourism in Africa. It will build on the networking and the exchange of ideas on tourism issues on the continent and set policies to develop and grow tourism in Nigeria and across Africa. The 61st meeting of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Commission for Africa is taking place in Nigeria at the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja from the 4th to the 6th of June 2018.
The glorious month of Ramadan is here, and the Muslim community of the NTA2 Lagos Network Center invites you to this year's Yusuf Gibro Ramadan lecture. Date 14th Ramadan, 14:39 AH. Time 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Venue NTA2 Lagos Network Center premises, Television House, Akmadu Bello Way, Victoria Island, Lagos. Under the chairmanship of Alhaji Abdulateef Femi Okunu, National President and Southern Society of Nigeria. Chief host Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, Director General NTA. Host, Chidi Uluka, Zonal Director, NTA2, Lagos Network Center. Special guest of honor, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, Speaker, Lagos House of Assembly. Spiritual Father of the Day, Sheikh Sulaiman Abu Nola, Chief Imam of Lagos. Guest lecturers, Commander Gidado Taufik Mikdad, Acting Director, Naval Directorate of Islamic Affairs. Ustaz Harun Thani, Imam, NTA Lagos Channel 10. Lecture on benefits of non-interest financial system is an integral part of the event. This is a gathering of Islamic scholars you don't want to miss. See you there.
Rap has changed. Music has evolved. New art forms and genres are riding in the airwaves.
I'm just another OG caught up in the mix. I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. I won't be left with nothing but take you back to school. Yeah.
Hey, listen up, black and yellow old past.
Rivalry between the old musicians and the new ones.
You say you don't know Lemmy Caddison?
What time don't pass? I mean, none of us here knows you. You don't even know me, Roy Singer. Which kind of music gonna play?
Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby.
If a musician can be old, can music be old? Join your cracking comedy in this explosive episode called Hip Life.
You two guys,
You should get out of here.
You don't belong to the 80s. That's who you are.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
Thank you for staying with us. Now we'll take more stories. Since Nigeria moved about 25 points in the last World Bank Ease of Doing Business ranking, she has reclaimed a place as now Africa's preferred investment destination. This is part of the gains of deliberate and focused initiatives by the Buhari administration, which scored Nigeria high in the areas such as access to credit, permits, registration, and enforcing contracts. In this report, Shein Olagunju examines how Nigeria is taking advantage of the result of the reforms.
A country rich in vast natural and human resources, Nigeria was a natural magnet for foreign investors, with multinationals establishing major hubs and factories in Nigeria. However, factors like corruption, power supply and lack of enabling environment impacted negatively on their profits, leading to the exit of many, some to neighboring countries.
The bureaucratic bottlenecks, the number of toll gates that you have to cross is so scary that I'm sure that a lot of these guys would have just thought, why don't I move just to the next environment?
The good news is that the recent initiatives like the Presidential Enabling Business Council PEBEC and the Focus Labs are bringing the much-needed investments back.
PEBEC has implemented a series of national action plans, targeted interventions aimed at dismantling specific bottlenecks around business and property registration, access to finance, payment of taxes, import and export of goods, entry into and exit from Nigeria, and so on. On account of these reforms, the World Bank recognized Nigeria as one of the top 10 most improved economies in the world in 2017, and the IMF cited the business climate reforms.
Today, we are able to generate 7,000 megawatts. The discos are willing 5,000. Transmission company is able to transport almost everything that is being produced.
We clearly have a responsibility as government to make it easier for you to do business in the country.
The government proudly invites serious investors to take advantage of Nigeria's ever-growing and conducive investment climate, promising limitless opportunities and great yields.
Everything from starting a business to registering for taxes, to how our labor laws work, how land can be acquired. All this information is available online. It's available in over 100 languages. So investors, can get information on investing in Nigeria. We also try to make it easier for investors to get information on investment incentives that exist in Nigeria.
With all the work done in brightening the nation's investment climate by improving infrastructure, anti-corruption war, justice reforms and security, as well as Nigeria's huge and mostly young population, the government says investing in Nigeria now is the way to go. It is a win-win for all. Shein Olagunju, NTA News.
Thank you, Shein. As the level of power supply improves, electricity workers have assured distribution companies in putting their best to stabilize the sector. This was during a meeting by the electricity workers and Abuja Electricity Distribution Company. Mayor Ogidi reports.
Information. Unless we share problems, we will not improve our company.
It is indeed a meeting of no ranks, as both the management and the staff of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, agreed to do some self-appraisal to increase power supply from the current 19-hour daily to 22 hours, bearing in mind unforeseen circumstances. And to achieve this,
there's some staff who had never been to any training of any sort. They joined NEPA, they joined PCHN, they never were trained. Our dream should be, within next 5 years, every member of staff will have received training.
We should avoid to try and retire in one job. Let's be open to be able to move within itself. The company can support to some extent, training and so on, but people have made it to the top.
Staff of the AEDC were assured not to entertain any fear of illegal dismissal, but just do what is spelled out in their job description, as the company is guided by the conditions of service entered into with labor unions. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
Lagos is our next stop on Nationwide, and Jennifer is a guide on stories from that end. Hello, Jennifer.
Thank you, Kendi. Glad to have you join us in Lagos. The National President of the Nigerian Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NACIMA, Iyabode Alaba-Lawson, has called for the strict and judicious implementation of the 2018 budget, the single-window payment system, and proper understanding of the Naira-Yuan currency swap. Addressing conference in Lagos, the NACIMA boss said the development of the non-oil sector through a sustained roadmap in agriculture, mining, and manufacturing is the way forward towards inclusive growth. Amaka Owo reports.
Indices from the recent GDP report for the first quarter of 2018 released by the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NACIMA, indicate that the nation's economy is on the track to sustainable growth, with a GDP growth at 1.95%. NACIMA President Iyalode Alaba-Lawson advocates for an inclusive growth plan that will positively affect the lives of the ordinary Nigerian.
We have a lot of work to do to increase the output from the non-oil sector to improve our economy.
While applauding the allocation of about 30% of the budget to infrastructural development in the 2017 and proposed 2018 budgets, Mrs. Lawson and the newly appointed Director General of NACIMA, Ayola Olakomi, say repositioning the mining sector in an environmentally sustained manner will place the country on the path of growth outside oil.
Let us put in place a program of action of a Nigeria not dependent on oil alone. Let us revive our industry that is the path to giving employment to our people.
The mining sector has been totally repositioned in such a way that the question of environmental sustainability of the mining sector is key.
NACIMA promises to concretize on the ongoing intersectoral trade agreements and increase the scope of utilizing the chamber to promote sustainable economic growth. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NT News.
The Nigerian Army has inaugurated its forward operating base in Ekpe local government area of Lagos State. Mohammed Abdul Kadri reports that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Burutei, along with Governor Akinwumi Ambode, performed the inauguration ceremony.
That was the symbolic cutting of the tape to inaugurate the army base. It was symbolic in the sense that it marked the return of the military to Ekpe on the bank of the Lagos Lagoon, from where the military conquest of the Axis in 1892 began. The operating base was welcomed by the Lagos State government and the people of the area.
It's a new strategy to be able to keep our outer spaces
safer than ever before.
The Chief of Army Staff says the establishment of the base is to deter criminality.
While we continue to work on our national security, we also focus on the human security. This is a concept that we are developing and to ensure that we provide the needed security in support of the civil authority.
The base falls within the area of responsibility of 81 Division, which has been tackling gangs of kidnappers and Bado on Ekpe-Ikorodu axis.
The security situation in Ekpe was assessed with a view to resolving it once and for all.
The tour of facilities in the base climaxed the ceremony. The forward operating base, Ekpe, is expected to boost security within this area with a composite unit on standby to deal with threats from any flashpoint. From Ekpe in Ekpe local government area of Lagos State, Muhammad Abdel Kadri, NTA News.
And those are stories from Lagos at this hour. Back to Kehinde Olaleye in Abuja for more on Nationwide. Kehinde.
Thank you, Jennifer. And now we'll just pause for another short break. More news when we return. Don't go away.
Madam. Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three
you are welcome, sir.
As usual, yeah?
Welcome. You take that one. Yeah, take that one. You don't understand? We want Nigeria homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have? You don't have?
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mom to come to chocolate rice made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
And how they are cooked.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
NTA Television College JOS admission forms for diploma program in film and television production, television engineering technology, broadcast journalism, and degree programs in mass communication, television journalism, and mass communication television production is now on sale. The sale of forms will commence 14th May and run to 13th August 2018 at the cost of 7,500 Naira only per form, payable through the remitter platform in favor of NTA Television College JOS. Forms can be obtained from all marketing offices in NTA State Capital Stations, zonal centers, Training Directorate of the NTA Headquarters Abuja, and the Office of the Academic Secretary of the NTA Television College. Applicants are required to possess 5 credits in GCE, SSCE in relevant areas of study, including English and mathematics, in not more than 2 sittings. All completed forms attached with photocopies of credentials must be submitted on or before the 13th of August 2018 to the stations where the forms were obtained. For further inquiries, please contact the Office of the Academic Secretary on these numbers. Announcer, Registrar.
Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, we focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the Global Development Agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations, and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
NTA News Extra. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. News Extra. Because you want more.
Thank you for staying with us. The National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, says it has rescued more than 13,000 trafficked victims since inception. The Director General, Julie Oka-Doli, says this at a press briefing in Abuja ahead of the agency's 15-year anniversary. Gabriel Wood reports.
National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons was created in July 2003 with the core mandate to tackle the scourge of human trafficking in Nigeria. Despite the massive awareness and sensitization to minimize the menace, traffickers have continued on relentlessly in the wholesome trade. The agency is particularly worried by recent development ahead of the forthcoming World Cup in Russia.
It has come to the knowledge of the agency that some dishonest persons and network of human traffickers have concluded plans to use the forthcoming World Cup tournament, tagged Russia 2018, to recruit and traffic Nigerian youths out of the country. Part of the plot is to float unregistered football supporters club, unofficial government delegations, as well as unrecognized youth bodies, and use such platforms to collect huge sums of money from some desperate youths with the promise to ferry them out of Nigeria using the World Cup tournament.
Other concerns raised by the Director General include orphanage trafficking, baby factories, and the ongoing investigation into the disappearance of 96 persons on pilgrimage since December last year. Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
No Nigerian has any reason to go on pilgrimage and remain there, but return and fulfill the desire of a patriotic Nigerian to work for the unity and development of the country. This came from the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission, Reverend Tor Uja, at the opening of bids for air carriers and ground handlers for the 2018 Christian pilgrimage. He urged partners to make it difficult for any Nigerian pilgrim to abscond.
The true meaning and life of a people is predicated on what values they have for their nation. And the values of a nation are reflected in the thoughts, the practices, the laws, and the beliefs of those people.
4 air carriers and 7 ground handlers participated in the exercise, with all the relevant agencies in attendance.
It was very transparent, commendable. We appreciate everyone that was part of it, and we pray for the best for Nigeria. Thank you.
It's fair, and there are lots of documentation and regulations which you have to comply with, and you have to prove them. So for the last 2 years, yes, it's very professional and it's very transparent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Reverend Tor Uja announced that more than 2,000 intended pilgrims for the Easter pilgrimage have faced challenges, but the matter is being resolved between the Israeli embassy and the federal government. The National Identity Management Commission is scaling up its enrollment centers from 900 to 4,000 to ensure that all Nigerians are properly captured in the enrollment system of the National Identity Management System. The Director General of the Commission, Aliyu Aziz, confirmed this during a press briefing in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency. Oyeyemi Ajayi reports.
This meeting is to address the complaints by some Nigerians who claim to have registered for the National Identification Number without being issued the card. This, the Director General of the National Identity Management Commission, Aliyu Aziz, said though the agency is making efforts to ensure everyone gets the card, but noted that the most important thing is obtaining the identification number.
We want to focus more on the number so that we can enroll everybody. We will still print the card because it's part of our our mandate to issue an electronic general multi-purpose card.
This collaboration with the National Orientation Agency is, however, to create the awareness, especially in the rural areas, on the need for everyone to have a national identification number.
We have to therefore begin to address the issue of stereotyping, any kind of thing that goes to the local, to the lower level, asking for personal data. People tend to take it with some suspicion.
As at May 2018, over 30 million applications have been recorded, with about 3 million being processed. To stop multiplicity of sources where data is generated, the ecosystem has been created to harmonize all data-generating agencies. Director General of NIMSI confirmed that the agency has commenced the registration of minors between the ages of 0 to 16 years, whose parents or guardians have registered. In Abuja, Ajayi, NTA News.
France is reopening its embassy in Banjul, the Gambia, in its renowned international support to help the West African country's democratization effort after the ousted of the former leader Yahya Jammeh last year. For this and other stories trending on the foreign scene, let's join Ado Adamu also.
Thank you and welcome. We start from Africa, where the French Foreign Affairs Minister has announced that France will reopen its embassy in Gambia's capital, Banjul. This would enable the Gambia to benefit from being designated as a priority country for French official development assistance. The Gambian President Adama Barrow recently appealed to the international donors in Brussels, asking them to fill a $1.6 billion financing gap towards the implementation of the country's national development plan. The European Union, other development partners, and the Gambian government held a conference in Brussels to discuss international support of the Gambia in its democratic transition since ex-President Yahya Jammeh was ousted from power in early 2017. To Asia now, the 4 years hunt for the Malaysia's airline flight MH370 has ended, with the latest privately funded search coming to a close. A U.S.-based Infinity had been using a deep-sea vessel to survey a vast area of the southern Indian Ocean, but it found nothing, and Malaysia's government said it has no plan to begin a new search. The plane disappeared on 8 March 2014 while flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing with 239 passengers on board. And Myanmar said dozens of Rohingya Muslims who fled to neighboring Bangladesh have returned voluntarily and will be sent to a transit camp pending resettlement. Nearly 700,000 Rohingya fled Myanmar after a violent army crackdown began last August in the western state of Rakhine, a process that the U.S. and the United Nations have described as ethnic cleansing. The returnees entered Myanmar in different stages over the last 4 months, said Aung San Suu Kyi's spokesman. Myanmar did not give any information on the group's members, and Bangladesh authorities said they were unaware of any details. The UN has said conditions in Rakhine are not ripe for repatriation. And that is it from here. The news continues.
And now to sport.